be talking about her life, about her illness, and how she got out of it. Rahi is a homeopath doctor, a good friend, and a student, someone who has completed her Meta Health practitioner's level. She also was part of our conference in 2017, and I am delighted to have her back here to speak about her journey. Thank you so much, Rahi, for coming here, for taking up my invite.
Thank you, Anu. Can I share the screen?
Yes, you can. Just give me a minute and I shall give you the permission. Just give me a minute. Technology. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Share screen, the green button down.
Yes, I have said, but I can only see. Okay.
Yes, now I can see it.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes. So, hello everyone. Thank you, Anu, for giving me the opportunity to share my life history up till now, my journey, and how I was introduced to Meta. Can you hear me properly?
Absolutely, Crystal, and you're brilliant, and it's a great opportunity for me to get to know you better. And it, guys, just to let you know, this is not just introduction to Meta Health, but this is really introduction to Rahi Joshi. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Anu. So friends, as Anu has introduced me, I'm Dr. Rahi Jayan Joshi, a homeopath from Pune. And I was born to a family of doctors. And the first girl child, where my dad was very happy having me as as the first daughter. But constantly, time and again, I heard from my mom that I wish I get sons now. I wish I get sons after you. I wanted the first son also, but let me see. I should get at least two sons now. The reason for me to tell you this was that it did have some effect on me previously. Uh, I always was the responsible person, as my parents were very, very busy in their life. They were very busy. My mother was a gynecologist and my father was a general practitioner. So I had to take the responsibility of the whole house and caring for my brothers, younger brothers, uh, till a long time. And then I had to put a facade of a brave man than a woman. And I used to feel scared inside, but then I never showed it because we were always brought up by maids. We hardly ever had uh, any interaction with our parents because they were very, very busy. And then my journey of Meta began on the evening of 6th of July. Actually, before that, it was such a case that I wanted to take the responsibility of the house, and didn't even want to get married. I thought, if I go away, who's going to look after the family? But ultimately, because my father was suffering from 2 or 3 heart attacks, he said, I would be glad if I get married you off to someone so that someone shares my responsibility, or if I'm not there, someone will take your responsibility and I'll feel free to die. And then after coming to my sasural, or after getting married, there too, I was always taking responsibility of uh, all the house. We had a joint family, and this in during this process, I was not looking after what was happening inside of me. I never thought, what do I want? I'm a female. I have to look after some needs of mine. I have to be a little bit gentle towards myself. I'm I'm not regretting it, but then it cost me a lot. So the evening of 6th of July, I had some pain in my left side of my abdomen, and I had to, it was so painful, and my abdomen was so rigid that I had to undergo a sonography. And the sonologist he was very much worried because he could see a huge mass of an ovarian tumor in my abdomen. And it was decided that I would get operated surgically. A surgery was planned, an emergency surgery was planned. And that night I got operated. Everyone thought it was a plain simple ovarian cyst which was neglected. And so as to not make me go through the cutting open of the abdomen, the gynecologist, the obstetrician, he just macerated, and through laparoscopy, he got my tumor out. I thought it's done, it's over now. But no, a shock was awaiting me when the pathological report came of that tumor. It was a huge tumor of 11 centimeters in diameter, and I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it at all till that time. Yeah, there were episodes of heavy bleeding, but I put it under the carpet because there was a huge family to look after. And then when the tumor was diagnosed as granulosa cell tumor, and it was removed initially by maceration, the small fragments of that tumor spread all over my abdomen and on my peritoneum. And then we realized there was a level of markers to be done. When the markers came, the report of the markers came, it was very, very high. So another surgery was planned. I thought it was a full stop in my healing. It was done, but no, it was a semicolon. Then I had to undergo another major surgery of 5 hours, 6 hours duration with an a cycle of chemotherapy also, so that all the small fragments which were not visible to the eye were also treated along with the chemotherapy. After this session of chemotherapy, I was just wondering, one of the cousins of my husband, an engineer by profession, he was into this positivity talks. He was continuously nudging me to listen to his talks, as I was also dealing with patients with PCOD. Me and my mom, we were working on patients with PCOD. And he said that there is one Louise L. Hay, who has penned down some thoughts of hers, and she has written some connections between the emotions and the physical manifestations. But I thought it was all humbug. There was nothing like that. There was nothing scientifically proven. So I ignored him. I totally ignored him. Whilst I was battling this, I had no knowledge that another small tumor was there in my abdomen. And in spite of having 2 major surgeries and 2 sets of chemotherapy, still there was a tumor which had recurred. And then I decided to address the elephant in the room. He had given me an idea that do your patients have any issues regarding their femininity, those who are having PCOD? Because the affections of the ovary it's a generative organ. So when there is affections of the ovary, there is definitely some uh, some problem regarding, there is some struggle regarding accepting of their femininity. That actually struck something in me, but still I put it under the carpet. But after this recurrence of the third time, the tumor third time, I decided that no, I will take the uh, issues in my hand. I will take the power of healing in my hand. So the first thing I did, that I attended these talks of given by my husband's cousin and Mr. Ujwal Uke. There, they were teaching spirituality in a different form, and they were teaching the thoughts of Louise Hay, where she says that you can heal your own life. First, I told the surgeon was ready to cut me open once again and remove that tumor. But I told him nothing to him. Please give me some time. I have to work on myself. Unless I remove those thoughts in me, I will not be able to control or stop these tumors from recurring here and there. So here I was being introduced to a new way of living that shows evidences that how emotions are directly impacting our physical health. I would like to quote Louise Hay that she says that you have the power to heal yourself, and you need to know that. We don't know that. We always give our power to someone else. We want people to treat us, people to cure us, people to heal us. They are just adjuvants. Actually, we have to start healing ourselves. Many a times we don't know how to do it. Same thing happened with me. But then I requested my husband to send me to LA, Los Angeles, to Louise Hay, where she was doing this healing personally by herself. And my daughter Anushka, she gave a call to Hay House, and she asked there whether she'll be able to take me as a patient. But the person there, she was very, very kind, and she said, there is no need for you to come here. We have already trained people in India. So please check whether you have some person in Pune. She specifically mentioned Pune, where I stay. And she asked, we just went through, my daughter went through the list of healers with Heal Your Life. And I came across Kavita Doshi, who is also a student of Anu. And I spoke to her. She was very kind, and she requested me to attend her workshop 4 days later. Luckily for me, it was coincidentally 4 days later. I attended that workshop, and it just realized that it helped me to understand and release many of my unresolved emotions. And there she introduced me to Anu. As my luck goes, Anu was in Pune, and she was going to take the first workshop of Metta. And there I was introduced to conflicts and Udins, as we say in Metta. First, Kavita gave me a small peek into Metta health, and she told me why I got the first tumor of the ovary in the left side, then why I got it now. She just explained to me through the Metta way, why was I affected this way? Why not any other tumor and only the tumor of the ovaries? Anu was the first Metta health trainer at that time in India. And then it was an absolutely different and believable world of healing. And there I could join the dots. This helped me to release my Udins, release my conflicts, which I had no strategy. In spite of me, the irony was, in spite of me being a homeopath and we deal so much uh, healing connected to the mental state, I was not knowing of the psychodynamics which cause the emotions causing the physical manifestations. I had overlooked this connection for a long time. This went on smoothly because in the meanwhile, in between, I was having many conflicts, and slowly, like peeling off the layers of the onion, Anu helped me heal all these pent up emotions, unwanted emotions. She helped me to strategically manage these things till last year. I knew I was once again spiraling. I was not paying attention to myself. I was simply getting angry. I was simply giving importance to some stupid emotions, and I had mismanaged my emotions. And I used to do my markers, the level of the markers, which was specific to these tumors, which came all the while normal. And this tumor, although was supposed to recur every 4 years, I had no recurrence of tumor. But last year in December, I had a high level of marker, slightly high. Once again, all the sonography and the CAT scan was done, and a small tumor was seen beneath my spleen. I knew I had to be aware. As Anu always says, be aware, acknowledge your emotions, and act on it. I hadn't done any of these things for the last year. And once again, I had to undergo surgery. Still, I took time to work on myself for 1 month. But unfortunately, my reports came 2 days after my surgery, which were at the level of half. They were halved. I worked on myself. I removed my conflicts. But still, I had to undergo surgery. And this is the time when uh, I was undergoing my chemotherapy. And I had a long, lustrous hair, which I lost. That was another Udin. And then once again, I remembered that I had to take the control of unchecked emotions. I had to do the inner work time and again, being aware of what is going on inside. The universe and our body is always telling us there is some chaos going, but we put it under the rug, we put it under the carpet, we just ignore it. But then you have to put in the work to put your mental health in state. You have to be the captain of your ship. You have to be, you only you know what is going on inside. You know what emotions are troubling you. So don't let bad emotions fester in your mind. Take help, resolve the unsolved conflicts. And it is the attested fact that we have come here on this planet to learn something. And each one of us is a work in progress. It is the only way to manage our own conflicts, as we are the only ones who know, we are the only ones who have knowledge of what is going on inside, what is hurting us. Be authentic. The more you learn how to avoid recurrently going on into the conflict, recurrently going on into the hanging healing, as we say in Meta, the better we will learn to thrive and not just survive. It's never too late. You are never too young or never too old. It is never a bad timing. It is always great to start at any time. Thank you. Thank you, Anu. Thank you, everyone, for giving me a patient listening and patient hearing.
You were beautiful. Can you take off the screen sharing so we can see you?
Yes.
Thank you. Guys, isn't she beautiful? Okay, I'm going to ask a few questions, Rahi, and I would open the forum for everyone else to ask questions because this is an opportunity. Just to let you know, Rahi is a very soft-spoken person. She always amazes me, and today again, I feel that when she's opening herself and talking about her conflicts, it feels like music to my ears to even hear her walk through her journey. So I'm going to ask her a few questions, and if any of you have any questions, please unmute yourself or write in the chat and I will read it out for her. So Rahi, when you lost all your hair, you spoke about ovaries being a feminine. It's all about the babies, all about femininity. Did you feel feminine? How did you actually feel when you lost all your hair?
I was not bothered about the chemotherapy or the surgery which I had undergone, but it was shocking for me to lose my hair. And I would like to quote an incident. There were some people in my house who used to ask me to cover my bald head, saying that, do you know what bald means in Maharashtrians? It means that you have lost your husband. Don't you have any shame that you are showing me this bald head? And I used to feel, oh my God, people are worried about my bald head. Where whatever I'm undergoing, they're not bothered. They're not bothered to lend me that. I didn't want sympathy, but at least I didn't want an apathy towards this condition of mine. It was absolutely bad. And that time I really missed being feminine, because femininity is, I had the long hair was the beauty of femininity. It was a sign of femininity. And I just went into the shell, slowly to come out.
So, when you were in your shell, Rahi, what were you thinking inside your shell? What were the thoughts that were going inside your shell that you never shared with anyone?
I was feeling that क्या करूं, कैसे मैं इमीडिएटली कैसे लाऊं, क्या करूं, कैसे इन सबका मुंह बंद करूं. Am I only recognized by my external appearance? Don't people have any love for me for whatever I have done, whatever love I have given them? I mean, it was shocking for me. For 8 days, people didn't realize I was not talking. I was just crying. I was just crying.
Thank you for sharing that. There was another part where you said, I felt like a man taking care of my two brothers. Can you explain a little bit more of that? Thank you.
Actually, when I was 10 years old, the brother younger to me was 6 years old. And at that time in Pune, there were series of murders happening. And we also had got a letter from probably one of those murderers, that we know where your son goes for classes. And if you don't give us 1 lakh of rupees at that time, around 70, 1970 rupees, we are going to kill your son. And it was it was so bad. Can you hear me? My connection,
Yes,
yeah.
went for a minute, but yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. And my parents were so busy that there was no one for me to speak to. I was absolutely scared. Absolutely scared. I used to never leave my brother's hand whenever we used to go to school, whenever we used to go to classes. And this was all happening uh, without my parents knowing anything. Yeah, they also must have gone through a lot of fear and lot of turmoil, but I was only 10. At that time, I decided that I'm going to be the protector of my brother, and I am going to protect him from everyone and everything. Any, uh, what do you say, buri nazar, jaise you say, I'm going to protect him from the murderers also. So I thought I can't be a woman. A woman is weak. So I have to be a man.
Ah, a woman is weak. Okay, got it. And so could it be possible that he was no more your brother, but more of your son?
Yeah.
Guys, that explains ovaries, because when you have cysts in the ovaries, it's connected with profound loss, and their profound loss was captured back in time, right at the age of 10. So we don't know when the tumor started. Wow. Okay. Is there a message that you would like to give the society? Because I hear the girl child is important. I hear that your hair is important. I hear that the external beauty is important. I also hear that the girl should be able to be the protector of her brothers. Is there anything you would like to say to the society in all, in the whole, for them to change maybe some attitude of theirs or their reasoning or perceptions, or during this journey where you kind of felt that, yeah, that bit that bit would be great if I could change it?
Uh, Actually, I am, I mean, I can't give any sermons as such, but then I do feel that whatever you are born, you have chosen this. So don't feel you're, I feel a man and a woman are two wheels of a cart. Sansar जैसे बोलते हैं. Now, no one can be small. If one is small, it is going to topple to that side. So never feel yourself, never devaluate yourself. Always feel you're equal. You're not more, you're not less. Always feel you're equal, and just be authentic. If you can't manage it, tell people that I need help. I need a break. I wish to ask. I desire this. Even if they can't fulfill it, you can ask. And don't keep pulling yourself. Don't keep struggling that no, I have to put on a facade. I am the protector. I am the, uh, what do you say, head of the family. I have to do this. If I don't do, who's going to do it? People will do it. Nowadays, everything is easy. Everything is easily available. And please don't feel that people are dependent on you, and don't feel great about it. If make them independent. Don't worry.
ज्यादा ज्यादा क्या होगा, एक दिन खाना नहीं मिलेगा खाने को। उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं होगा, कोई भूख से मरने वाला नहीं है। वैसे भी हमारी कंट्री में सुना है, ओनली वेरी 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 पुअर डाई ऑफ हंगर। किसी अच्छे घर में, अच्छा नहीं, किसी घर में जहाँ पैसे हैं, वहां पे किसी को भूख से मरते देखा है क्या? Okay. Last question that I would like to ask you. If you were given a chance to live life again, what would you do differently this time?
I will not give significance to people or thoughts or experiences outside of me which I don't feel important. I will do things which I feel important. I will listen to my inner voice, which I had lost. I don't know what I like. I didn't know what I like. Not I don't know, I know now. I didn't know what I like. I didn't know what I wanted. I will listen to my inner voice and just live freely.
With hair or without hair?
With hair or without hair.
Because you're as feminine without hair and as feminine with hair. You are pretty and you are amazing. Thank you, Rahi.
Thank
I'm
you.
opening the forum to others for questions if you have any, or for feedbacks. You can tell her how beautiful she said what she said, and with authenticity. Thank you.
One question,
Yes,
Anu, I can
yes,
ask for Raiji. You spoke so well; it gave us goosebumps when you said that when you lost your hair after the chemo, and people, the traditional society of our country, and they said that yeah, the bald ka matlab kya hai? After all these things, do you still follow the norms of society?
No.
Thank you. Thanks. I wanted to hear this. that time when you needed empathy, sympathy, you need that. They were more concerned about vidwa hai, wo lagegi. Thankfully, you don't follow them now because it was your battle and you won it on your merits. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiranji.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like a feedback or ask a question?
Rahi, it is so amazing. Hi Anu, hi everyone. Rahi,
Hi.
it is so amazing to listen to you.
Thank
And
you.
trust me, I didn't know this backdrop, but hats off. And definitely, it is like to the society and this to everyone. मैं दूसरी वाली दिखा नहीं सकती फेसबुक पे लाइव जा रही हूँ. I love you यार.
मिलकर कुछ दीवानों ने एक रास्ता चुना.
बिल्कुल.
मिलकर कुछ दीवानों ने एक रास्ता चुना. किसी ने चप्पल दिखाई और किसी ने ठेंगा दिखाया.
ठेंगा दिखाया.
पर मिलकर कुछ दीवानों ने एक रास्ता चुना और शायद वो रास्ते में बहुत सारे लोग जुड़ गए. थैंक यू जी. कुछ और फीडबैक? Any question?
Anudhi, I want to ask this lady, Rathi, like when it happened to her, like because abhi India mein people are aware, right? Cancer chemotherapy means like you lose your head, right?
मैडम ये सिर्फ 212 में हुआ है.
So still people are इतने पागल है क्या? उधर अभी भी backward है क्या?
पता नहीं.
It's 2020, only 8 years back. My sister had cancer.
Yes.
Almost 12 years back, like 12 years back, and even my two bhuas, they all like have one another, one, you know, in our family within a year we had 3, but nobody had that. Like nobody, I never heard that. This is really shocking for me. Ki still in India, people talk like all this bullshit, like, you know, it's a cancer and it's a chemotherapy. You lose your hair.
इश्विन, अभी भी सब कुछ होता है. एहसास करो. No, it's not weird. It's real.
It's real, yeah.
कुछ कर सकते हो तो करो. कुछ कर सकते हो तो करो. नहीं तो ये सिर्फ ये कह देने से कि it is weird. It does not help anyone. Does not help anyone.
Don't follow this culture and norms then. Why we have to follow this culture and norms then? When the society doesn't understand, doesn't accept us.
Thank you. I love the fierceness and I love the anger. रखोगे क्या राही को अपने घर में और वो आपके घर रहेगी क्या?
Anytime.
वो आपके घर रहेगी क्या?
With whole heart. I know with whole heart. With whole heart. I'll support her. I'm driving, so I cannot see. With whole heart.
Rahi, next foreign trip.
अरे इंडिया में भी घर है, इंडिया में रख दूंगी. फॉरेन में नहीं पहुंच सकती है तो वहां पे भी रख दूंगी. फिक्र नहीं.
बहुत लोग हैं जिनको
वो इस सोसाइटी को बॉयकॉट करेगी. उस सोसाइटी के लिए फिर नहीं जिएगी. वो कल्चर और वो नॉर्म्स नहीं फॉलो करेगी. यू नो, बिकॉज जिसने उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया तो उसको फॉलो क्यों करना फिर?
मैं कुछ बोलना चाहती हूँ.
प्लीज बोलिए राही.
इश्विन जी, मैंने अपने घर में स्वर्ग बना दिया है अभी. I don't bother, and not aggressively, but I don't bother. I don't take to heart if anyone says anything about anything. Only if I feel like doing it, I do it. So I have got myself back. So this is a teaching for me, a learning for me, you know. So
what about your husband and your kids? Did they supported you, or even they had some objection? Like, did they also raise a point at you?
My kids supported me.
And what about your husband?
It's better.
She said her kids accepted her.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
स्वर्ग को स्वर्ग रहने देंगे हम.
हाँ जी.
हिंदुस्तानी नारियाँ.
ऐसे ही है, ऐसे थोड़ी ना. ऐसे ही थोड़ी ना. चलिए आगे बढ़िए. कोई सी और के पास सवाल जवाब फीडबैक? बहुत इमोशंस थी.
Yeah, that was beautiful, Rahi. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Very sad. Very sad.
I mean, it takes guts to talk about what you have been through. Yeah.
It's because of Anu. It's because of Anu I spoke.
Anu तेरा ही सहारा है, मुझे भी.
क्या है, अगर कोई सुपारी देगा तो मेरे ही नाम की देगा. सब हस्बैंड बोलेंगे इसके पास मत जाना, बिगाड़ देती.
No, actually the thing is, we think it's a Indian culture thing, but it's actually quite rampant globally also.
Thank you.
I
आज
don't
भी
think
कोई
so.
जरूरी नहीं है कि you have to have a head loss of hair because of chemotherapy. You could have loss of hair because of total alopecia, and the kind and the way people look at you. The girls don't get married because they wanted a girl with hair. And that is one of the most important qualifications, which is not even given in the matrimonial. And girl who is perfectly all right otherwise probably never gets married, not just because she was fat, thin, dark, but also because she didn't have hair. And what are we talking about? Only girls. Our country is full of bald men.
Absolutely.
And those bald men are having huge problems today because their capability is measured by their hair and not by the head beneath it.
Absolutely.
And this is the real sadness. We are talking about a very big social issue here. And thank you, Rahi, for bringing that up in the forefront. It's not just that you're a widow because you lost your hair. It's because you lost your hair, you lose your femininity. And you're not good enough to do so many things. And I'm not talking about one person. There's so many people suffering, young and old. And till we do not do something about it, this is going to go on. It's not just COVID that makes people social distancing. It's when we see people not looking like how we want them to look, we socially distance ourselves from them.
Yeah, we have lost our sensitivity. We lost our
Always.
humanity.
And probably we are doing the same right now. We will let our mother in without a COVID test, but not a maid in without a COVID test. Sorry?
Yeah,
We
we are biased. Definitely we are biased.
We will let our husband in, who probably went out, met 50 people and came in because he's our husband and we can't say no to him. But we cannot let our maid in without a test.
Yes.
And we never think that we need to get ourselves tested before we get the maid in.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes.
We can't think about it that she would be having a risk of walking into our house. We are hypocrites to the level of insanity. Sorry, I'm not going to go further because I can be having a very heated story over here. Okay, so great going. I presume you guys don't have any more questions, and everybody on the Facebook is also watching. Hi, Madhumita. That's so nice to see you here. Hi, Virendra, Rajesh Koyal, Sunita. Thank you, everybody. Madhumita Sen is a childhood friend of mine from college. Hi, Surabhi. Hi, Rupali. So really thankful for people being there and listening. And if you feel something around this topic, please do put it down on the chat. We go to the next speaker of the